Thank you, Jeff. For all of those who know me well, you know I'm really not that good. But I really appreciate all that Jeff does and the fact that he's a mentor. And as he mentioned briefly in his remarks, in 1991, Nancy came to me and she said, "I've been thinking." And that worries me. It usually means she's going to want me to do something, and it's probably something I don't want to do. And so what she said was, could we do something to serve young people? And I thought, well, we've got a football team. I was coaching at that time. And so I got in front of our team, as Jeff mentioned, 22 players were willing to serve as mentors for young guys in the middle school. And he mentioned that 21 graduated out of 22. They actually all graduated, and 18 went on to college. So we thought there was maybe something to this, and we thought we needed more mentors, and we thought that having adults would be helpful. So we came to St. Mark's first. We weren't in this church, but over the other building, and most of our mentors came from St. Mark's at that time. And so, as many of you know, things have gotten more difficult for young people. At the present time, over half of our young people are growing up without both biological parents. And some of those single parents do an amazing job. I don't want to hurt their feelings, but it's more difficult. And so the family structure has changed. Social media has taken a toll. And right now we have an awful lot of young people who suffer from depression. Because on social media, everybody's perfect. Everybody wins every contest. And of course, what's being posted isn't very accurate, but they don't always know that. And so we also have math and reading scores at an all-time low. Maybe some of that is due to the pandemic, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's a difficult time for young people. So anyway, currently we're mentoring about 10,000 young people in 5 states. And that's the good news. Some of the news that isn't quite so good is that we have 524 exactly, one day ago, waiting for a mentor here in Lincoln. And some of these have been on the waiting list for 2 years, 3 years, even 4 years. And so I know that those folks here in St. Mark's could very well fill that gap. And as Jeff mentioned, we've mentored over 51,000 kids without anybody being harmed by a mentor. And that's because it's all school-based. We screen mentors, we train mentors, and so it's worked very well. High school graduation for teammates is 95 to 98%. Depending on the year, it varies just a little bit, but that greatly exceeds what our population would predict. And so academically, it's been very good. I thought I'd just mention a couple people that I have mentored in the past. I mentor 2 kids every year, and one of them did pretty well in school, was going into his 2nd semester of his senior year. And he was taking geometry. And he wasn't good at it, he didn't like it. And eventually I found that he simply wasn't going to class, which meant he was sure to fail. And so we had a long talk, because if he didn't pass geometry, he wasn't going to graduate, and that was not going to be good. And finally he decided that he would go back to class. We got him some help, he did graduate, and he's now graduated from Southeast Community College and going to university. And so there are those inflection points that you run across. Sometimes they're come out of left field, but having somebody alongside of you can be very powerful. Another young guy that I have mentored is from South Sudan in Africa. Very tribal, very dysfunctional area. And when he was there, a rival tribe hit him in the head with a gun, told him they were going to kill him. And then they said, well, we've killed a lot of people today, and we're tired of it. We're going to let you live. So somehow he's ended up in Lincoln, Nebraska, with very little support. And I'd have to say, I probably learned a little bit more from him than he will ever learn from me. So all kinds of kids out there are struggling. We can certainly use your help. And the last thing I'll mention to you is that 95% of our mentees say they trust their mentors. They're proud to be teammates. And the biggest thing is they say there's an increased sense of hopefulness. And that sounds like a little thing. But the best predictor of success for a young person is hope. If no matter what your circumstance, if you can see some light at the end of the tunnel, if you can see how somehow, some way, things can get better, you can endure almost anything. But if there is no hope, and you feel that you're caught in a situation that is never going to get better, all kinds of things begin to fall apart. And so hope is really a huge factor. I'm going to shift a little bit here, because I coached roughly 1,500 young men during my time as a coach. I want to tell you about one of those. This guy's name was Brooke Beringer. Name may ring a bell with some of you, but probably not too many. He was from Goodland, Kansas. Jeff is from Kansas, and so Goodland was out on the western part of Kansas, almost into Colorado, small town. And he came here and was a backup quarterback to Tommy Frazier. Tommy Frazier was a great player and started as a freshman, and so it looked like probably Brooke wasn't going to play very much. But in 1994, Tommy was hurt early in the year. It was a pretty bad injury, and we weren't sure he'd even play again. And so Brooke played well. Second game he played, but he was short of breath. Found out afterwards that he had a collapsed lung. So they stuck a needle in his lung and inflated it, and told him to go out and play. And the next week, same thing happened again. And then they said, well, if this happens again, he won't play anymore. So we played through those injuries. And we played Colorado, and they were ranked 1, and we were ranked 2 in the nation. They had great players. We beat them 24-7 here in Lincoln. Brooke had a great game, went down to Norman, beat Oklahoma, and had a great year. We're undefeated. Played Miami in the Orange Bowl, and by then, Tommy Frazier had recovered, and they both played, and we won a tough game, won a national championship. You may say, well, where are you going with this? Well, what happened was that both Tommy and Brooke were back in 1995. And the question was, who would be the starter? Because they both deserved to be the starter. And so we said, well, we'll have fall camp, and whoever grades the best will be the starter. Because you can't have 2 starting quarterbacks, and so that's what we did. And so we had a great team that year. Nobody came close to us. Nobody came within 2 touchdowns of us. And we won the national championship. And Brooke played some, usually in the 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, because we usually were ahead. And it was painful for him. I coached the quarterbacks. I spent an hour every day with him, and I could feel his pain. And so he could have split the team. He could have decided to go his own way. But Brooke was a man of faith. He lost his dad when he was 7. His dad was a Christian, and Brooke was a strong Christian. And so what he did, he chose to serve. And so if somebody wanted somebody to come and visit the hospital, he'd go. Somebody wanted to have a speaker at an elementary school, a middle school, or a high school, he'd go and speak at the assembly. If somebody wanted to have somebody from our team make a phone call or write somebody, he would do it. And so he decided he was going to serve instead of be bitter. He held things together. He supported Tommy Frazier. And he graduated in December of 1995. He was projected as a NFL candidate. He wanted to be a commercial pilot, and he had a pilot's license. He'd flown a little Piper Cub. And one day in April, after he graduated, I heard about a small plane crash north of Lincoln. And I was a little bit concerned. I called his cell phone. There's no answer. So I drove out to the crash site. It was Brooke. And so we lost him at that time. And there was a funeral down in Goodland. And I thought some of our players might want to go. Maybe we'd take a band down there, or maybe one bus. It turned out that we had 150 players on our team. 150 players went. We had 5 buses. And the reason they went because of who he was and how he handled himself during that time when he was on the bench. And so many players came to faith at that time. We had a pretty strong influence even before that on our team. And so we went through a period of 2 or 3 years there. There was really unusual chemistry, unusual willingness to serve, unusual willingness to be unselfish. And that made a huge difference. And a lot of that was due to Brooke's influence. And so the reason I'm saying this to you, I'm telling you this story about Brooke, is that we're called to serve. That's essentially what Jesus did. He was a man for others. In 1 Peter 4:10 it says, each of you should use whatever gifts you have to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace. In Luke 9:23 it says, if anyone would come after me, he should deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. And in Mark 10:45 it says, for even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. So I thought you might want to see a short clip of Brooke, because I think he pretty much represented what those verses mean. And so if we have it teed up, well, you can go ahead and show it.
For all those times you stood by me, for all the truth that you made me see, for all the joy you brought to my life, for all the wrong that you made right, for every dream you made come true, for all the love I found in you, I'll be forever mine, baby. You're the one who held me up,
Never lose hope, okay? You're going to have these rough spots in your life, and the important thing is those who are finishers. So perseverance is a key in my life, and I think it's a key in everybody's life. The ability to overcome adversity is going to be very important in your life.
you were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me.
We all believed in each other, and we supported one another no matter who was playing at quarterback or any other position. And I think that's a really important attribute of this team, teamwork.
You gave me wings and made me fly. You touched my head, I could touch the sky. I lost my faith, you gave it back to me. You said my star was out of reach. You stood
And I will eat them here and there. Say, I will eat them anywhere. I do so like green eggs and ham. Thank you, Sam, I am.
I'm grateful for each day you gave me. Maybe I don't know that much, but I know as much as true. I was blessed because I was loved by you.
All the memories that I have of my father were those of hunting and being in the outdoors and enjoying nature and learning to respect for animals and for the outdoors. And that, it's kind of a bond that my dad and I had when I was with him, and it's something that stayed in my heart.
Hey dog. Hey dog. I got it. That's a good dog.
My world is so very blessed because of you. You strengthened me. You were my friend. When I couldn't speak.
My dad was a very strong Christian, and that's something else that he's instilled in me, and it's very important to me. And I feel like he's watching me every step of the way, and it's something that when I step out on that football field, I know that he's out there watching me. When I'm out there walking through the fields with my bird dogs, I know he's walking there right beside me, and it makes it all the more special for me. So, when I'm out there throwing a touchdown pass, I know that my dad's got the best seat in the house.
I'm everything I am because you loved me.
So Brooke, the reason I wanted to show that is the way he handled adversity was to serve. And it's easy to assume that the church is here only to serve us. And that's partly true. It's a big part of it. But we are also called to serve. Many of you do, as ushers out in the parking lot, some mentor, care for those in need, teach Sunday school, and so on. And just kind of as an aside, I thought I'd tell you, my son Mike teaches Sunday school. He's been concerned about some of the select youth sports teams because a lot of our Sunday school classes and attendance are being hurt badly by Sunday morning athletic teams. And so the story is that the only chance you have to get a college scholarship is to play on those select teams. And so Mike has started a league, doesn't play on Sunday morning, and something I think you should be aware of. So receiving usually seems more appealing than serving and giving. It's usually kind of fleeting. And serving results in a greater sense of purpose and meaning. It's more permanent. And I hope each one of you has some sense of ministry. Each of you has talents that can be used in some way. And if you do this, St. Mark's can really be a powerful force in this community. So, and I want to just, as I end here, mention a couple people. Des Moines Adams is here, and he heads up Teammates, and some people from Teammates are out in the lobby as well. And a guy named Pete Nigerian and his wife. Pete's one of my recruiting failures. I had a lot of those, but he was up in Minnesota, and he went to the University of Minnesota. But his wife flew down here today, and it's great to see him. He's on TV, you see him quite a bit. But I want to thank them for coming as well. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it.